Good morning and welcome to the Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Most of us feel pain if pricked by a needle. We feel the taste of sourness when sucking a lemon. And these senses are always there. But we also are affected by what we see. And as a matter of fact, that's a much more complicated activity because it involves shape, dimension, and color in three-dimensional context with multiple object associations that are changing all the time. But then some works of art do make us feel certain emotions. We look at Mona Lisa and we admire it because the smile of Mona Lisa is very calming. But look at the Scream by Munch and you are anxious. So some colors and shapes affect our emotions. They impact our emotions. The color red draws our attention to the object, and that's why Coca-Cola cans and lipsticks are red. It also mentions that red is a sign of a danger. We are also impacted by the shapes, by the angles, and that's why you will find chevrons on the road, the V-shaped ones. More rounded angles and the colors green produce a calming effect. And now the patterns have been seen that change our mood. The change the pattern, change the mood. Change the color, change the mood. And if you are feeling very unhappy, wear a different clothes and you will feel happy. So a study has been conducted which has proved what I always used to say, that 80% of the time what we wear, what we put on affects our mood. So they have developed a new sort of a textile called Psychotextile. And this textile changes your mood. And it was seen in the research that the people were given different clothes to put on, and their emotional response was measured by MRIs, which was a continuous process. In some cases, they did EEGs and ECGs, and every time they changed the color, they changed the pattern, the waves of the brain and the heart changed. So the response was both psychological and physical. The physical change was seen by the heartbeat change. The psychological change was clear from the MRI waves and from the EEG waves. So it was very clear that the repeating patterns were more exciting and the intense patterns were still more exciting. But plaids, pales, they were not exciting. It's important to know that pleasure and excitement are not the same thing. Exciting things can surprise you, make you sit up, take notice, but they may not be pleasant. So this was seen that why some patterns made you feel excited, they did not make you happy. On the other side, there were some patterns which made you happy but did not excite you. And as a matter of fact, what they have done is that these textiles are now being used to treat patients with the mental disabilities, to excite them, to make them feel involved, or to calm them, to pacify them. As a matter of fact, some knitted fabrics on the campus have been seen, and these fabrics were knitted with electrochromatic composite gel. Each piece of fabric knitted could toggle between two kinds of patterns, and every time the pattern changed, the attitude changed. And it also showed that the participants could switch from one emotion to the other only by changing their clothes. Amazing. So a smart fabric has been developed which changes your clothes. It means that somebody could choose a pattern to achieve a particular emotion. Clothes that fit your mood, or calm you, or excite you, or in the same way, they say that wallpapers can now be designed which can create an atmosphere. It can be a party atmosphere, it can be a peaceful atmosphere, it can respond even to weather. So you will not feel disappointed when the skies are gray. So this is a new visual medicine which has been found, and this visual medicine would transform product manufacturing, engineering, and also teaching of designs, arts and designs. The impact of the psychotextiles is going to be immense and cross the borders of designing, treatment, living, and quite possible a time might come we would call psycho art, psycho interiors, psycho materials, psycho architecture, and so on and so forth. So it's a research between human brain and surrounding environment, and combining patterns with the different colors and the shapes is changing human brain beyond recognition, which we could not imagine earlier. So the psychotextiles, which is a further development on what I had talked in one of my comments earlier, the textiles which are weather resistant. They are cool in summers and warm in winter. And as a matter of fact, just a few days back, I purchased a shirt. And the shirt is so good that I could wear it in the winter, in the cold season here. And I felt perfectly comfortable. So what I talked about it, I think 6-7 months back, has already been commercialized. And let's see now these psychotextiles being commercialized. When we are talking of our mental health, let's talk of the physical health as well. Antibiotics were the 20th century's most important economic scientific discovery. But unfortunately, what happened? It became as a miracle when the penicillin was developed. And then the antibiotics, first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. But overuse of the antibiotics led to the bacteria becoming resistant. And once simple infections became life-threatening because it could not be treated by the antibiotics. The bacteria, the infection had become resistant to that. And the most common was MRSA, a troublesome bug that is insurmountable, and the people's immune system having already been weakened, MRSA was creating havoc in hospitals and retirement homes. And now, amazingly, Purdue University has come up with a great thing. They say that slowly and steadily all bacteria develop resistance. So the new biotics come up, they are very effective, they are called miracles, and after some time they lose their utility. They adapt themselves. And the nanoparticles are in fact helping this new research, and that is that they have developed a sort of a light therapy. There are two aspects of this light therapy. One is a blue light, and they say blue light, when bacteria is exposed to that blue light, it weakens. It's not killed, but it weakens so much that the resistance that it has developed to the antibiotics, that resistance weakens so much that the bacteria is finished off by the antibiotics. So the blue light first weakens the bacteria, and after the bacteria has been weakened, antibiotics are used. The second part is light therapies, photo bleaching. So the bacteria is weakened through that process of bleaching. You know, when you wash clothes in the laundry, you use bleach that weakens the particles of the dirt. And here, those bacteria are weakened by the process of bleaching, and the infection being reduced. You are able to use the same antibiotics which had lost their efficacy to treat the patient. This is a new tool that can create superficial wounds with MRSA, or which are difficult to treat, or they can be used to treat long-standing illnesses. They have actually developed a device which is very small and very easy to use. And quite possible, within a year or so, you would be able to carry this device in your purse. And the moment you feel you are sick, treat yourself with photo bleaching, with blue light therapy, and the bacteria would become weaker and weaker. And then you can pop him a couple of antibiotics as prescribed by the doctor and become well. And this is a research which was published yesterday in Advanced Science. But the Purdue University has really done a yeoman's job in treating that. But when we are talking of this, can you believe? I'm amazed. The American Chemical Society is meeting nowadays. They meet, and in that society, it was shown that the plants can become superpower with the nanomaterials. You know, science fiction writers have been writing about human-machine hybrids that have extraordinary powers. But the super plants with integrated nanomaterial is something which boggles the imagination. What they've done is, for example, you have beautiful flowers. You immerse a cut flower into some dye, and the same dye is taking up through the stem to the flower petals. So that's for the cut. Now they say, suppose you use the same nanomaterial and put one stem of the plant in that dye. The stem would take that dye to the roots, and from roots it will spread to all the flowers. So you can have from one bush of rose 20 different colors. And they will be having superpower. They would be powerful enough to beat our bacteria, all pests. For the food grains now, it's very important that we would not have to use pesticides. You spread that nanomaterial, and that is effective for a period of 30 to 40 years. So the pesticides would not be required, and food would be healthy and life-giving. This is a major achievement. That the plants are with superpower. So it need not be superfood, but it's a pure food, it's unadulterated food, is pesticide-free food. And now, before we end, Let's talk of the pets, the dogs. Do you know, it has been seen that dogs can be trained to warn us when the seizure is going to begin, and they can detect a scent which the epilepsy patients emit, and they can sense it at least 6 to 7 hours before the seizure starts. So they can tell the owner that here's the guy, his seizure going to be start to begin, and he can be treated effectively. This research was done by Amelia Catala at University of Rennes in France, and they have seen that it's a training like the watchman, the dog can be treated as a watch person. Now it can be treated and trained as a watchdog for your health. So this further increases the importance of canine. Earlier they used to be guides to the blind. They used to rescue frozen people. St. Bernard's dogs in Switzerland are famous. But now they'll be able to target the seizure attempts, and the action can be taken to forestall the seizure, and the patient can be much more safer. So these are the few nuggets of knowledge in today's segment of Frontiers of Knowledge. I hope they do add to your capability to understand, appreciate the ever-widening horizons of knowledge. How about waiting for psychotextiles, as well as for the super plants or pesticide-free food, along with the dogs, to forestall the epilepsy seizures? Thank you.